3 years ago, I had $42,000 in my trading account. I'd built it slowly, profitable trading. Then I lost it. In 19 days. And the worst part? It wasn't bad luck. It wasn't a crash. It wasn't some black swan event you can blame. It was me and two habits I didn't even know had names. Overtrading and revenge trading. I'd heard those words before. I thought they were for reckless beginners, gamblers, not someone like me who... Come on, work! I was wrong. And I want to walk you through exactly how it happened, hour by hour almost. Because if I'd heard this story 2 years earlier, I think I could have stopped it. It started on a Tuesday. Nothing special about it. I remember because I'd just had my best month ever. 11% up. I felt invincible, honestly. That's the word. I remember staring at that red number, $800, and thinking, that's not supposed to happen. I did everything right. Is dangerous. Because the market doesn't care what you think is supposed to happen. So I opened another trade. Not because I found a new setup. I didn't even check the chart properly. I just needed to see green again, to undo what just happened. That second trade lost too, $400 more. And now I'm not thinking like a trader anymore. I'm thinking like a guy trying to win his money back from a slot machine. I want to be really honest with you here. I knew. Somewhere in the back of my mind, I knew exactly what I was doing. I'd read about revenge trading. I just thought it couldn't happen to me. That's the trap. Everyone thinks they're the exception. Everyone thinks their situation is different, their setup is real this time, their reasons are valid. Mine felt valid too. By the end of that first day, I was down $2,100. 5 trades, 4 of them outside my actual rules, and instead of closing my laptop, I told myself I'd make it back tomorrow. That sentence, "I'll make it back tomorrow," is one of the most dangerous sentences a trader can say to himself. Because tomorrow, you're not trading the market anymore. You're trading your ego. And I did exactly that. I woke up the next morning already thinking about yesterday's loss instead of today's opportunities. I wasn't looking at charts. I was looking at a scoreboard. By the end of that first day, I was down $2,100. 5 trades, 4 of them outside my actual rules, and instead of closing my laptop, I told myself I'd make it back tomorrow. I want to be really honest with you here. I knew. Somewhere in the back of my mind, I knew exactly what I was doing. I'd read about revenge trading. I just thought it couldn't happen to me. By day 5, I wasn't sleeping properly. I'd wake up at 3 a.m. and check futures prices on my phone. My wife asked me if everything was okay, and I told her, yeah, just a rough week. It wasn't a rough week. It was a man slowly losing control of himself and lying about it. To her, and honestly to myself too. Around day 9, something strange happened. I stopped caring about the money. I know that sounds backwards, but it's true. It became about something else, proving I wasn't wrong, proving the market hadn't beaten me. That's ego talking, not strategy. And ego doesn't check charts. Ego doesn't respect stop losses. Ego just wants to be right, no matter what it costs to get there. I switched markets too. That's something I never talk about. I went from stocks to op as options move faster, and I thought faster meant I could recover faster. By day 14, I'd lost almost $26,000. More than half of what I'd built over 2 years, gone in 2 weeks. And I still didn't stop. People ask me, why didn't you just stop? And the honest answer is I didn't feel like I had a choice anymore. It felt like stopping meant accepting the loss was real. Trading felt like the only way to undo it. That's the cycle nobody warns you about. It's not just financial, it becomes psychological. You're not chasing profit anymore. You're chasing relief from a feeling you can't sit with. Day 17. I remember this one clearly. I took a trade so far outside my plan, I wouldn't have recognized it as my own. No setup, no stop loss, triple my normal size, pure desperation dressed up as a strategy. It lost $9,000 in one trade. One single trade. That night, I sat exactly where I'm sitting now. Lights off, laptop closed, and I just sat there for probably 2 hours, not thinking about anything specific, just empty. My wife came in around 11, sat next to me, and asked what was going on. And I finally told her the truth. All of it, the 42,000, 19 days, everything. I expected her to be angry. She wasn't. She just asked me one question I'll never forget. When did you stop trading the market and start trading your feelings? I didn't have an answer that night, but I thought about that question for weeks afterward. And eventually I realized it was that very first day, the $800 loss. That's the exact moment it started. Not the big losses later, the small one at the beginning, the one that felt unfair, the one where I let my ego take the wheel instead of my plan. On day 19, I had about $16,000 left. I didn't trade that day. I didn't trade for almost 3 weeks after that, actually. I just sat with what happened. I went back through my journal. I did keep one, I just stopped writing in it during those 19 days, and I could see the exact pattern. Every entry got shorter, less analysis, more emotion. By the end, my journal entries were 1 line long. Things like, just need this one to work. That's not a trading journal anymore. That's a diary of someone in pain. And once I saw it laid out like that, in my own handwriting, I couldn't unsee it. It wasn't the market that took my money. I handed it over, trade by trade, emotion by emotion. So here's what I actually changed. Not theory, not something I read in a book, but the real things that got me back on track. First point, a hard daily loss limit. Not a feeling, an actual number, written down before I even opened my laptop. If I hit it, I'm done, no exceptions, not even just one more to fix it. Third things, I went back to writing real journal entries, not just entry and exit prices. How I felt. Was I calm? Was I angry? Because looking back, the pattern was always there, I just wasn't looking at it. Fourth one, before any trade now, I ask myself one question. Would I take this exact trade if I were already flat for the day, feeling nothing? If the honest answer is no, I close the window. And fifth, I stopped trading my account balance. I started trading the chart in front of me again. That sounds small, but it changed everything for me. It took me almost a year to rebuild back to where I was before those 19 days. A year of small, boring, disciplined trades. Nothing exciting, nothing to post about, just discipline. And honestly, that boring year taught me more than the 2 profitable years before it ever did. Because those 2 years, I never had to face who I actually was under pressure. Those 19 days did. And I'm not proud of what I saw. But I'm grateful I saw it while I still had $16,000 left, and not 0. Because some people don't stop at 16,000. They keep going until there's nothing left to lose, and only then do they ask, what just happened to me? If you're watching this and you've got a position open right now that you took after a loss, out of anger, out of pride, out of needing to be right, close it right now before you finish this video. It will still be there in 30 minutes if it's actually a good trade. If it's not still there, that tells you everything you need to know about why you really took it. I'm not telling you this story for sympathy. I'm telling you because I looked for this exact video 3 years ago and couldn't find it. Just strategies, indicators. Nobody told me that the scariest part of trading isn't the market. It's sitting alone with a loss and choosing what you do in the next 60 seconds. That choice is the whole game. You can have the best strategy in the world. Doesn't matter. If you can't sit with a loss without reacting to it, the market will find that crack, and it will take everything through it. I'm not a guru. I don't have a course to sell you. I'm just a guy who lost $26,000 to his own anger and rebuilt it slowly by finally respecting that anger instead of acting on it. My account's healthier now than it's ever been. Not because I found some secret indicator, because I finally stopped trading like I had something to prove. If there's one thing I want you to take from my 19 days, it's this. The loss was never really the problem. What I did in the 10 minutes after the loss, that was the problem. So the next time you take a loss, and you will, everyone does, give yourself those 10 minutes. Walk away, breathe. Let the version of you that wants revenge sit down and shut up for a while. Because the trader who comes back calm in 30 minutes makes very different decisions than the trader who comes back angry in 30 seconds. I've been both. Trust me, be the first one. That's my story. 19 days that taught me more than 2 good years ever did. If it helps even one of you close a bad trade tonight instead of doubling it, it was worth telling.